What's going on? It's Captain Cave Bob, and I have a legend of the sport of skateboarding on the line. What's going on, Mr. Frankie Hill?
How's it going, Captain Cave Bob?
Hey, man, just trying to keep it going right around the Christmas season, and this is a perfect opportunity for our listeners to go out and buy the Frankie Hill Legion skateboard.
Good, thanks.
Well, Frankie Hill, man, wow, such a legend of the sport. Tell us about, when was the first time you picked up a skateboard?
It was about right after I turned 14.
And from when you picked up the skateboard at 14, how did it progress? You went from being somebody who didn't know how to skateboard to all of a sudden learning tricks that blow in people's minds.
Well, the way it started was I was riding my Huffy bike down the street, and I saw this guy do an ollie off one of these little street transitions, and I was like, man, this guy is catching more air on his skateboard than I can on my bike. I'm like, man, I wouldn't mind trying to learn how to do this. I put a little mini ramp up in my backyard and talked the guy into coming over to skate it, and he skated it for a little bit, and then I had this little drinking fountain thing in my backyard, and he did like one of these old school Mark Gonzalez bonelesses off it, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And he's like, it's street skating, dude. Let's go. And then I went out down the street. That was it. That's where it started.
Obviously, being as young as you were when you kind of got into the skateboarding game, when was it that you joined Pal Peralta?
Well, what happened was I entered some castle contests, and Enos was one of the judges. He got me on Dogtown. I was on Dogtown for about a year. And then I had some local skaters that I grew up skating with here, and they skated for Pal. And I started to, just be like, wow, I want to get on Pal. So I begged my way into a contest and then weaseled my way onto the team, basically. It was probably about 16 and a half, almost 17 is when I finally got on PAL.
Yeah, but you got to think about it. I've heard the title, one of the originators of street skateboarding. Is that true?
I don't know. I used to watch Mark Gonzalez and Nada and Mike Vallely, and those guys were just destroying the streets back then. And I just remember skating on PAL, and of course Ray Barbie in his flat ground. I mean, still untouchable. But it was everybody back then, everybody brought something different to the table.
Right.
And Pal was really good at, enhancing the originality of all the different street skater styles.
Okay.
And they kind of said, okay, Frankie, well, you seem to be able to do these big stair jumps and stuff. And I thought, wow, I want to bring something to the table. So I want to, maybe I can't board slide a little handrail or do something that the other guys are doing, but I can jump on these stairs. I'm going to try this board slide down this long handrail. So I just tried to bring something to the table. That's pretty much what I brought.
And you're talking about huge gaps too, bro.
Yeah, that's what I tried to bring something to the table. I was just happy to be on PAL.
Hey, man, you brought a lot to the table, man, because some of those gap jumps even amaze me now as I look back.
Thanks, man.
You're talking about a huge, huge amount of distance. What were your thoughts when you went down and busted your knee all up that made you stop skateboarding?
Correct. Well, I had skated the PAL factory that day, and I was ready to go home. And a photographer from Transold Skating came by and said, hey, let's go out and shoot a Transold poster book. And it was a guy that wasn't organized, and I told him basically no. And he's like, let's do it. So I went out to USSB, backside lip slide down a 5 stair, and then you always need a backup photo because you never know how stuff's going to turn out.
Right.
So then I tried ollie off 8 stairs and over a wall that extended out on one of those little popsicle boards right when it first came out. And I didn't quite have enough speed, and the truck hit the edge of the wall and wasn't even completely sure that my truck even hit the wall. It was so slight.
Yeah.
And it kind of, my front foot went forward and straightened up, and then I landed on my front leg like that. And it just exploded, dude. And I basically hit the ground and looked up at the photographer and told him it's over. It wasn't even a question.
Right.
They actually called me up that night to let me know they were canceling my poster.
Oh, dude, you're hitting a man when he's down.
Yeah, hitting a man when he's down, dude. That's where the fire in my belly started. I'm like, wow, if I could ever come back, I don't care if I'm 60, I'm coming back with a gray beard on the ass, man. Just
Yeah, no doubt, man. So how long were you out of skating? Explain that whole whirlwind of the 6-7 years, man.
Correct. Well, right after the injury, my girlfriend left me, and it's kind of sort of hard to blame her, because I think at the end of the day, she was happy to be dating Frankie Hill, maybe not so much, who I was kind of thing, She left. My friends left, and I don't blame them for that either, because they all skated, and, they go down the street and you can't follow them, so that kind of ended that. And so I tried to go to school, City College, for a couple of years, had a really hard time focusing, and about 6 years later, the knee had degraded, and the cartilage was completely out of my leg, and then the bottom of my knee buried under some scar tissue by that point, and have a hard time walking. So my mom called up a workers' compensation lawyer and told them my story, and they able to actually get my surgery and get re-educated so I could actually try to make some money instead of working at a gas station or something.
Well, now you are back in action, man. And so you are the one who came up with the idea, or you and a couple of partners came up with the idea of Legion Skateboards.
Correct. And what happened was I got in a job downtown after I, got out of my schooling, and I was starting to skate a little bit again. And I decided to try to make a skateboard company with some friends that, didn't really turn out too well. But the idea behind it I thought was good.
But obviously now that is in full effect, and you are in full effect as being a rider for Legion, right?
Correct.
So it's nothing like bringing back old school skaters with gray hair.
Yeah, pretty much. It gives the old guys somewhere to go, and I'm just really happy to be part of what we're trying to accomplish here.
Well, it's all about bringing the old school and the fun back into something that has turned so corporate.
Correct. Yeah, it's just about, some skaters getting together and everybody doing what they can and what they enjoy doing. And hopefully with that, we can actually create something that actually means something. And so far, it's working out really well.
Yeah, that is awesome, because as everybody knows around here with Bob Rocks and the Bob Rocks family, fun is our second favorite F word.
Sweet.
And that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to tell kids, go out and have fun. That's what it's about. Going out and ripping it up, man, shredding. We've always, especially myself, Rebel Bob, us being old school cats and growing up in that atmosphere, not necessarily as good as you guys, but still having a good time while we're doing it.
It's all about challenging yourself on a skateboard. That's what's fun for me. And nowadays, I'm not even a fraction of what a long time ago, but I still really enjoy it. It's about challenging yourself, and no matter where you are, just trying to have some fun and just challenging yourself.
I tell you what, brother, you're still pretty nasty, dude. And I'm serious, because I've seen some older videos, man, that are a couple years old. That was you, right?
Correct. I shaved my head for a little bit to try to prove to people that it was new footage, and the only response I got was, why did he turn into a gangster? That didn't work.
Hey, dude, I didn't see that. You didn't have any bandanas on.
I know.
You didn't have any bandanas around your jeans like the old school Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
well,
I should have put my old Motley Crue pants on. What I should have done.
Your concert jeans.
Yeah.
Tell me where that is a bulldog, right? It's the old school bulldog logo you have.
Correct. We revamped it a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's the same. I actually drew that graphic myself back in '99.
Wow.
And, Bart from Legion, took it and basically improved on it. And, man, it was really, really pretty cool to see him take my old graphic and kind of bring out what I was really hoping for it to look like.
Hey, I have to admit, man, it still sticks in my mind from the old PAL board.
The old bulldog.
Yeah, man. And you know what? And you still rocking that out is awesome. And the best thing about it, man, your guys' decks are only $35.
Yeah, you gotta love it.
You know what? All these other boards, other companies, you're talking about paying $60 and $65 for a deck.
Wow.
Yeah, and you go to Legion and you can get a deck for $35. It's right around Christmas time, Frankie, or as we call here politically correct, Quahanamus. And it's a perfect opportunity to get your kid, your nephew, your little brother, your little sister a Legion skateboard deck. Hook them up with a tee so you can rock it out. And it's all about old school skating, having fun, and bringing the fun back to an awesome sport.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, my friend Frankie. Frankie, man, at any point in time you need anything from the Bob Rocks family, we're here for you. We'll take care of you.
Man.
Hopefully we can bring you maybe into town at some point in time, throw a demo together, get all you old school riders with gray hair like me showing the kids what's going down.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, I gotta head out there at some point anyway as a family.
That would be a perfect opportunity to stop in and show some love.
Well, thanks a lot, Captain Cave Bob.
No problem. And that was Frankie Hill from Legion Skateboards. Check him out at legionskateboards.com and check out all the other great riders they have and pick yourself up, your brother, your mom, your dad, whoever, a brand new deck so you too can be a part of the old school family. Thanks a lot, Frankie Hill.
Thanks a lot, man. You rock.